Welcome back everyone, Scarland here bringing you another Black Desert video, and today we're going to be doing the class introduction. So if you're new to BDO and you're undecisive about what class you want to play, I recommend that you try them all and then decide what kind of playstyle you enjoy the most. Classes in Black Desert Online are not typical of traditional MMOs. For example, when talking about the holy trinity of a tank, a DPS, and a healer, aren't necessarily required in Black Desert. Any group of adventurers will probably be successful as long as they are the correct level and have decent gear. Solo play in Black Desert Online is normal at lower levels. With the help of potions, any class can easily heal and regenerate for themselves. There's plenty of group activities to take part in, but you don't have to scrap the whole entire party just because you guys can't find a tank or a healer. Now when we talk about PvP on the other hand, certain classes will excel, such as the wizard being the main healer. Keep in mind that the classes in Black Desert Online are gender locked. Now in this brief introduction, we're going to be going over 5 different categories for each class. They're going to be control, defense, the combo ability, evasion, and attack. So when we talk about control, this is the measure of the difficulty in controlling the overall class. Classes with the highest control tier, such as the sorceress, are the most difficult to master. The berserker class, on the other hand, has a very low control rate. That way it's the easiest of all to play. So when you're looking for a class, you're going to look for a low control rate if you want some easy gameplay. But if you want more difficult control, then you'll look at that. Defense measures the class ability to take damage that hits them. Higher defense means the class is better equipped to take damage. Classes with the lowest defense rank, like Ranger, received more damage from hits. Pretty self-explanatory when you're talking about defense, especially if you're familiar with any MMO. Now the combo tier. The combo is a combination of key presses in a set order to perform a series of powerful moves. This ranking is a measure of how many complex combos are available to the class. For the easiest class to play, look for classes with a low combo tier, plus low control ranks, such as the Witch, the Wizard, the Valkyrie, and the Berserker. Let's talk about the evasion. Obviously, evasion measures the class ability to evade attacks. And then finally, the attack measures the attack damage that the DPS will dish out then. Now right now, we are specifically talking about Xbox, and whenever you may watch this video, whether it be now when it is released, or whether you're watching it down the line in the future. Currently, as of filming this video, we do not have all of the classes on Xbox unlocked. You can see on your screen what we have available. Now, Black Desert Online currently offers a total of 17 classes, so if you play on PC, you have 17 classes available to you. However, on Xbox currently, we only have 10. Thus, meaning we are missing 7. And the 7 that we are missing is going to be the Tamer, the Meiwa, the Conchi, the Valkyrie, the Mystic, the Archer, and the Ninja. Now, we're not going to really go in depth too much about these classes. We will do some pros and cons for them, but we're not really going to go much in depth since on Xbox we currently do not have them. However, we will have these classes in the future. So let's go ahead down through the list here and we'll do some pros and cons. First on the list we have the Warrior class. So I have his statistics brought up on the left hand of your screen. So some of the pros of the Warrior, obviously he is a tanky class. He has amazing self-sustain as well as many health steal abilities. Now some cons of the class. long AoE cooldowns, low mobility, and low duration damage buffs. So he can self-buff himself, however they're not very adequate. He does have a high sustain, and he is a very tanky class. Next on the list we have the Ranger. Some pros: amazing AoE, very good in PvE content, and a very mobile class. Some of the cons, however: you're going to be very squishy with low defense, and you're a potion hog. Since you have low defense, you're going to be taking a lot of hits, thus you're going to be chugging potions a lot. Next up we have the Sorceress, which is very well in PvP. It does extremely well in PvE. This is an all-around class, however it has a very high learning curve. You'll notice that the control is 4 stars as well as the combo is 4 stars. There's a lot of memorization to learn the combos as well as getting the control down. So if you're thinking about playing a Sorceress, just be prepared. That is a very difficult class to play. However, it is very good in PvP as well as PvE content. It has a very powerful AoE skill set, excellent mobility, and debuff skills. Now, as I mentioned, some of the cons: it is the highest combo and control difficulty, and the super armor and forward guards are very weak, thus giving it a little low on the defense. Moving right along, we have the Lawn. Some of the pros include long-range stun lock combos, which are good for PvE and PvP content, which this class will excel at. However, it is also a glass cannon, which means the defense is on the lower end. And some more cons are also that it has no resistance and is easily stunned. So be aware when you're playing the Lawn that it is good in both PvE and PvP content. However, the low defense means that you are a little squishy. However, her control is manageable, but you will have some memorization to do with her combos. Next up, we do have the Berserker. Some of the pros: for PvP, has a powerful 1v1 capability. It can chain grab you until the opponent is dead. It's also very well in PvE content. Now, some of the cons: it does have large frame rate drops. It can be very glitchy doing the combos. You're going to notice that the control is next to none, and the combos are only a 2. This is a very good beginner class for anyone to get their feet wet with the game. He does have a high defense rating and a high attack rating. So again, it excels at PvE content as well as PvP content. Moving down the line, we have the Striker. Some of the pros: very well in PvP combat. He has a high mobility, and for PvE, he has a big AoE damage, surprisingly tanking ability, super armor, and high health. Now, the cons to the Striker are going to be his combos. This class in particular takes a lot of time, skill, and dedication to learn all of the combos to master the overall class. You'll see that he also has a very high control, mediocre attack, mediocre defense, and mediocre evasion. So if you're looking for a challenging class to get into, the Striker is probably one of the more challenging classes in the game to master. Next on the list we have the Musa. Now, the Musa is an extremely well PvE character, especially for farming. Massive AoE arsenal, super high mobility, and extremely fast. Now, some of the cons: unfortunately, it is weaker in a 1v1 PvP situation. However, group PvP, you can rely on your teammates to either keep you alive or buffed, etc. Musa is one of the most, I don't want to say most, but very favored on PC for farming PvE content, and overall is a pretty easy class to learn. Next up, we have the Dark Knight. Has amazing AoE capabilities, easy mob-to-mob mobility, and it's very excellent in PvE content. Now, some of the major cons are you're going to be very squishy. So the control and combo rates are both a 2. It's a very semi-easy class to learn, but you'll notice the attack is super high, while your defense is mediocre and your evasion is low. Moving right along, we have the Wizard. The Wizard will excel in PvP content as long as it is group content. 1v1s are not very nice with the Wizard. However, Wizard is very much needed in group combat, especially node wars or sieges, for their ability of protective aura, which basically makes you invulnerable for about 8 seconds. It also has high-end healing capabilities, so you'll keep your teammates alive in PvP, but keep in mind you have a very low defense and will rely on your teammates to keep any enemies off of you. As far as PvE content goes, has a very good clear speed, has massive AoEs, and is well-rounded. The Wizard is more aggressive other than the Witch, having a grab ability. It's also slightly more mobile than the Witch. Now, the only cons of the class really, since it's such an easy class to learn and maintain, that a lot of people feel that the Wizard gets boring and stale after a while. So that is going to be your decision whether or not you can keep pertinent and be happy with the class as your main, or are you going to keep a Wizard as an alt. Finally, rounding out the available current classes on Xbox, as I said, depending on when you watch this video, now or in the future, more classes might be unlocked. But we do have the Witch. Now, the Witch and the Wizard are practically the same with some minor differences. The Witch, again, will excel in PvP just like the Wizard, as well as PvE content. They're practically the same. Now, some of the cons, the Witch does have a block instead of the Wizard's grab, making it more defensive, whereas the Wizard is more aggressive. It's also slightly less mobile than the Wizard. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Like I said, I just wanted to briefly do a class introduction to all the current classes that we have on Xbox, as well as the classes that are coming. We didn't really go in depth with the classes that are coming. As these classes do get released, I will probably make more videos on them just themselves. So we have the Tamer, the Mawa, the Valkyrie, the Kunachi, Mystic, Archer, and Ninja, all pending release on the Xbox. And depending on when you are watching this in particular video, maybe these classes have already been released. Now, some of the most common questions I get, well, what is the best class for PvE farming? What is the best class in PvP? What's the best class for XXXXX? The best answer that I can do for that is that Black Desert mainly keeps all of the classes balanced to a certain degree. Not one class is going to excel in something that another class wouldn't be able to do. At the same time, though, it is an MMO. Things are always subject to change. Some things get, nerfed. Some things get buffed. What I would basically tell anyone that is interested in starting BDO is to either try a handful of classes and see what kind of gameplay you like, and go with that. You're going to have multiple characters in this game, so there's no reason not to try a handful of classes, maybe eventually trying all of the classes in the game. Now keep in mind that when you do delete one of your characters, say you don't like the warrior and you know for a fact that you were never going to play a warrior, but you already created one, you already leveled one up to level 20, well, if you go ahead and delete that character, just keep in mind that there is a 24-hour cooldown period before that character slot becomes available. Now at the same time, there is a purchasable item in the Pearl shop that you can buy to unlock character slots. However, keep in mind that they also give away character slots once in a while during certain events. So there's no real need to actually buy character slots unless you really wanted to go sweaty try hard and have one of every class and try everything. That is completely up into the individual player and how they want to play the game. So, like I said, some classes will excel in certain aspects of the game. Like I said, the Wizard excels in PvE content as well as the Musa, but the Wizard will also be decent at PvP combat as far as group combat. But when you come down to a 1v1 situation, when you're out in the world and you're farming and you're by yourself and a class comes along, chances are the Wizard's going to lose that battle 1v1. So there are certain aspects of the game that, yeah, you might really, really like playing the Wizard, but at the same time, you're going to have to accept the fact that in a 1v1 situation, chances are you're going to lose the battle unless the person you're going up against just has no idea what they're doing. And that's just how the game works. Keep in mind also that everything we mentioned today was pre-Awakening. Once Awakenings do release on Xbox, some of these tiers will change, as well as, the PvE content and the PvP content. Some of them change for the classes. For instance, the Ranger is actually a ranged class, pre-Awakening, using her bow and arrow. However, when she's awakened, I believe you get dual swords. So some of the gameplay does change. We'll cover Awakening in future videos. I just wanted to do an overall class introduction for Xbox users. Now, if you're a PC player and you watch this video, if I messed anything up, feel free to leave a comment below and correct me. That's going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next one.